Hi everybody, my name is Mish and I am a Diamond doTERRA leader here in Australia. I'm here with Lucianne, who today is going to be sharing her journey with her beautiful son Sterling, and kind of her story of his diagnosis with autism and how she's holistically supported his health and growth and all of that through a lot of different ways. And one of those ways has been using essential oils. And there's a lot of other ways as well. So she's going to kind of encompass a holistic approach to supporting what we would call like spirited and spunky or unique children, kids that might have special needs or different needs than kind of your average child, I guess, average in quotations. So what she's going to be sharing with you today is her journey. And I think I'll just start maybe just introducing you, Lucianne, and then I'll just talk a little about doTERRA really briefly, and then I'll let you jump in and just talk about what you want to talk about, and then we'll end it today afterwards. So I'll let you go and introduce yourself, hon.
Oh, I thought you were introducing. Okay. Anyway, hi everyone. I'm Lausanne. I'm a entrepreneur here in Bunbury. I own my own business wherein I source organic, well-priced whole foods as well as lifestyle complementary and enhancing products, all at reasonable prices for our Southwest WA families. Like Mish mentioned, I use essential oils quite extensively in our house and in my life, for myself as well as for my kids, of which one of them is autistic. So yeah, the other holistic things I will discuss through my presentation. But if anything comes up that I don't discuss, because this is basically my first time doing a presentation, and I think it's close to 15 years since last I did a presentation. So I've thrown in a lot of kitchen sink stuff and I've taken a lot out, so I can't remember precisely what I've added and what's too much information, what's too little information. So I welcome any messages. I'll answer them as best as I can.
Awesome.
I've left my details.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end. So I'm just going to show you guys a quick video here on kind of the idea of using Intune. Intune is a rollerball blend that doTERRA has, and Lucianne's going to talk about kind of when to use Intune, like what's an appropriate age, and some other alternatives in just a minute. But we are going to just show you some interesting, just some really quick videos of how to, just how to support your kids and stuff like that. So let me just screen share this video here. Oh, please don't tell me this is going to be. You're only as good as technology.
If my brain could talk to me, it would say, like, go hide under your desk, go talk to your friends, go throw a pencil across the room and make somebody mad. Something like that. I had a tough time focusing and listening to the teacher what would say, and even the times that I did listen, I would usually forget, and then I would ask the teacher what it was again, and then she would just get mad at me and say I wasn't focusing and wasn't listening, so that kind of affected my grades a little bit. Made me feel like I wasn't that good of a kid and everybody else was doing way better than me. They usually got like a straight O's and outstanding is what it means, or A pluses. Before I used to get satisfaction, so yeah, kind of good, but not really.
One time, his teacher pulled me aside and just shared with me all of the negative things that Everest had been doing. And just the list went on, and she had no solutions for me, just problems. And I remember going out in the car and calling my husband and just sobbing because I didn't know what to do for him. And I know he wanted so badly to be good, and he would even pray at night about it.
At night, I would pray that I would usually say like that I could focus in school better and please help the teachers not yell at me and help me be better than I was yesterday. Something like that.
It's really hard watching your child suffer and not knowing what to do to help them. And we even contemplated going with medication, but I really didn't want to go that route. I wasn't comfortable with it. So I was talking to my mom one day, and she introduced me to some Focus Blend essential oils and said, this might help. You should try it.
I use the Focus Blend by putting it on the back of my neck, and it helps because it's easier to get up to my brain, just right up there. So, and I kept it in my pocket. My brain was really foggy and it was hard to think. And after, it wasn't so foggy. It only had like an inch of fog, and that's not that much for what I had, like 5 or a foot of fog.
So I applied the Focus Blend essential oils to Everest on a Thursday. And I went into school the following Monday and asked his teacher, so how has he been doing? And she said, he has been so different. What did you do? And I said, well, when did you notice the difference? And she said, Thursday. That's the same day that we started applying the essential oils.
Now my brain would say, good job, keep going, you're doing so great. And like when I wasn't doing so good, you're like, we're doing so good today. Why are you suddenly not doing good? Go, 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 you're going so fast. Go, go, go. Something like that.
It's amazing because now he's coming home with all outstandings, A+, great self-esteem, has lots more friends, and helping around the house, which is amazing. And I am so happy.
One day I got a Star Student Award, and it's something that they get picked out of the whole class, and some people got picked twice because they were so good. And it felt really great because it felt like I had a new thing of honor in the classroom, and everybody respected me a little bit more, and they were a little bit nicer. Now that I have better grades in school, I might have a chance on getting into other good colleges. And my future job is actually being a teacher. I just like seeing kids, and it's kind of fun. Essential oils are really, really great. They can help kids and sometimes parents.
So I just wanted to share it with you because I think it gives you a great understanding of what, how it can help, I guess like how it can help all sorts of kids and also, adults as well. So I think as we kind of journey through this today and Luciana's talking about it, we kind of focus on that. Now I can't figure out why I don't have a video anymore. This is so weird. Like it's not showing me at all. Oh goodness, this is pretty funny. All right, well, I think then I'm like a ghost. This is crazy. This is so weird.
Well, I can still see you. So,
you can see me.
So is that
okay?
Yeah.
You can see me. That's great. I can't see anybody, so I don't know if people can see me or not. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess I was saying maybe because I'm recording. Why don't you just go through? I guess just how to use the essential oils, and then you can just jump into what you're going to talk about because I can't see myself, and so I don't know if people are actually going to see me or not. So.
All right. Okay. I'm going to start and see if I can do this presentation, and then I can talk it basically through that.
Yeah, you could just go for it. Just go for it.
Okay, can you see it all good?
Yep, it's all good. Perfect.
All right. Where do I see the notes?
You can't see the notes unless you're in the other section of it.
That's a bummer. Anyway, yeah, let's just wing this. I love that. I'm a winger anyway. So yeah, this is my take and my journey from the perspective of having a child with autism. So welcome to our Unique Kids by Lizanne. So my name is Lizanne Van Wyk. I'm originally from a country in Africa, Southwest Africa, called Namibia. And my husband and I came to Australia in 2006. and we started our life here in Perth, actually, and we came over both as engineers. I'm a qualified civil engineer and he's a metallurgical engineer. And so we found jobs and we were working, and then around my 30th birthday, I went through a life change, and it coincided with the global financial crisis, and I decided to take my retrenchment package and become a chef. Food has always been a big part of my life. My father had restaurants, and we had beef and cattle and lamb and everything. So I come from a very strong food foundation, but found that I was really isolated in Australia with no family and no friends and all that stuff. Yes, we've made friends along the way, but you don't make the same kind of friends as you do when you're at school. So in 2011, after a successful IVF procedure, we became parents for the first time to Sterling Isaac Van Wyck. So being both from a very technical and scientific background, we decided to call our kid after two engineers and physicists, and so we had great expectations for our son. We thought the world of him. And when he was 4 months old, we had to move to the southwest of WA. Again, another change. I'm a new mum, kid, and I had no family and no friends. But luckily, with this pregnancy, I was blessed with a lot of good hormones. So I was able to make it straight through and have enough energy to survive being a single mum without family in Australia. So in hindsight, moving to the southwest was the perfect opportunity for me to create the life I want to live with Sterling and my husband and so forth. I just didn't know it at that time. I just was doing the bare minimum most days. So yeah, like I explained, I grew up quite frugal in the sense of using things for sustainability or multiple uses rather than saying I'm stingy or something like that. So when we started using nappies, it became quite apparent that we were throwing away a lot of nappies, and I felt mucho uncomfortable with all this rubbish going to the tip. So I started doing cloth nappies, and soon I was getting soap berries or grey water safe washing powder to wash the nappies in our clothes. And away went nappy sand, bleaches and other softeners, things I had habitually used because my mother or grandmother used it. Next, I was introducing solids, and something about purees just seemed old school. So I decided to do baby-led weaning, and Sterling thrived. Our change to whole foods and natural cleaning products was quite easy because I was the only one doing it, and Sterling and Martin just followed along. So yeah, there's my life. Oh, I love how I can watch my couches and they're all clean and the cushions are perfect. Oh my goodness, how life has changed since then. In 2013, so a month before Sterling's second birthday, Miss Juno Fay arrived, and she is a true blessing because she is our free baby. We didn't spend 1 cent to conceive her, and she's making us work for it now. Anyway,
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is. She also required me to change to a dairy-free and gluten-free diet because she was allergic to the proteins in my breast milk. So I became dairy and gluten 3 from when she was about a couple of months old. And that started my journey on exploring alternative milks and replacement flours. So by Sterling's 2nd birthday, things started getting serious around his milestone development. Until then, he was ticking all the boxes except language. And he was given a pass. From about 13 months, I started saying, look, he's not saying anything, he's not doing it. And the doctors and healthcare nurses just said, you know what, he's growing up in a multilingual house. Matt and I speak Afrikaans. I speak German. So I was trying to teach him German as well. So I thought, all right, I'll stop that after that and just focus on English. And so by 2.5, nothing has happened. We saw the speech pathologist and not a lot was going on. So we, at long last, got the referral to the pediatrician. And yep, within, I think, 20 minutes of being there, he was diagnosed with autism, and the severe kind. Although I always say they over-exaggerate that. For Sterling, this is not a global thing. For Sterling, but because for us he wasn't extreme, but he's the things that he couldn't do was quite lengthy. So then we went off to for a definitive diagnosis from the psych and speech, and that was also came back. Yep, severe autism. There you go. So funding was coming our way, but I was lost. I didn't know what to do and how to move forward. I didn't know how to help my child, and I was mourning the loss of the dreams and hopes that I had for him when he was born. The future was non-existent, actually, and I was just doing every day at a time. When I was pregnant with Sterling, I read nearly every pregnancy book, and every book after that when they 0 to 1 years old. And I got to the stage where I had 2 kids and one was autistic. I couldn't find any information. How to deal with a kid 3 years old, not even 3, and he had autism, and I couldn't find anything. I was lost. Well, I'm a firm believer in the universe answering my questions and sending the right people. So along through a dark period, I created a bulk buying group, and through that, I met a lady that also later on discovered her son has severe autism. And through her, I discovered ABA therapy. So ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis, and that has been the gateway to getting our son back. Around the time that we started applied ABA, I also started with essential oils because I was already on this path to natural, more sustainable living, and essential oils was just coming along for the ride. It was just a natural shoe-in into our life. And yeah, I started using it for myself, and then as I learned and added more to my collection, I learned that I could use it for Sterling. So I could use it in different ways, aromatically, topically, or internally when he would allow it. So during the time when we did ABA, I solely focused on focused blends. So things like lemon, peppermint, rosemary. Rosemary is very good at reducing nervous tension and fatigue. And ABA can be quite strenuous on I think he was nearly 3.5 by that stage for a really small child. And they were expecting about 7 hours sometimes of a lot of therapy. So rosemary came in quite handy, as well as wild orange and the other mood oils like citrus bliss and elevation to just keep us going, because it was a strain on me. I was laminating and printing and teaching, and I was learning a new skill of how to do the therapies at home. It is quite a strenuous time, and ours is not individual. I know this is quite often in other families and at different times, when it's times to learn for tests, when there's a big thing change coming up. It's the kids start to wane and they lose focus, and these blends are also amazing to go into the classroom. So for Sterling's kindy teacher and now pre-primary teacher, I sent through a diffuser and some of the attention and focus blends so that she can put it on in the beginning of the day and help them get into the learning and all that. And for the end of the day, I send more of the relaxing blends so that they could still be give attention, but all the sensory stuff was just removed. And for Sterling, I also add these oils to him in the morning before he goes to school, topically. So these things, apologies. So for the topical blends, I use DDR Prime, Intune, the video that you just showed, Motivate, and my personal blend, which is basically Intune with DDR Prime, with a bit of wild orange, and sometimes a rosemary or two in there. I feel quite liberal with it. And I tell you what, the change that I've seen in Sterling from starting kindy last year and going into pre-primary this year has been immense. The change in language. We've gone from a non-verbal boy to 80%, or maybe 65% communicating, because at this stage we're working on three-way communication instead of just one way, one sentence, and we're to the stage of three-way and holding a conversation. So that is quite, I tell you, it still brings a tear to my eye every time I can converse with him. Yeah. So this blend of DDR Prime is my absolute hero in the oils blend. It's just worked completely for Sterling, and because I didn't do this scientifically, I can't say, oh, it is the thing that worked for us. But oh my God, I'm just saying it worked for us.
You're not the only one. Like, you're not the only one. Like, I have so many stories of kids that, especially for language, that have had very immediate and like quite profound improvements with language just by using it topically. So sorry, just on that rollerball blend, how much of Intune, and like just roughly how much are you putting into that rollerball blend of each of those?
A quarter of each.
So a quarter of Intune, a quarter of DDR Prime.
Yeah, and then I think it's half the bottle, quarter of each, and then the rest of the half is fractionated coconut oil.
Okay.
So it should be about an eighth of a bottle for each one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Did I do my maths right? No.
So a quarter of Intune. So a quarter of that rollerball is Intune. The next quarter is DDR Prime, a little bit of wild orange, a splash of rosemary, and then you top the rest up with fractionated coconut oil.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Mm.
Where do you apply it? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Where do I apply it? In the mornings, I put it up and down his back. So we do a zigzag tickles. We call it oil tickles. And I rub it in and it goes up to his neck. And sometimes I put it on his feet as well. If we have a really strenuous day, he's in 2 schools at this stage. So early intervention for 2 days and 3 days mainstream. So mainstream school is overload in sensory everything for him. And he's been taking it like a champ, an absolute champ. So on days that I know it's going to be more stuff going on, like when they had their Easter parade or when they have a special day at school, all the children are out of routine and they break the day. The day is not the same. It sends him into his closed off mode. He doesn't communicate. He doesn't interact. He switches off. So for those days, I try and preempt it by adding a little bit more to him. So I add it on his feet so it stays on longer. The ones I put on his back, that you can actually smell, and the smell stays with him, so that diffuses all through the day to him and his lovely EA. And I also have given her some roller balls that she can put on at different stages of the day when something happens or when something is going on. And after lunch, sometimes his attention starts waning. So she can give him some Motivate or DDR Prime for that. They have a news segment in schools that makes him quite nervous. He still hasn't mastered it, or he's working up to it, but I find that Motivate is a really good blend for him because it's a little bit of gives him a little bit of courage, and he's starting to ask kids to play with him, and yeah, that brings everyone a smile to everyone's face.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
Yeah. So with kids with special needs, everything around them can become a sensory overload. So anything from lights, noise, kids, textures, it depends basically on the kid. And while Sterling doesn't have many meltdowns, he has moments where he starts crying, but he doesn't have really overwhelmed meltdowns. But I know, and I'm friends with kids, parents that when they get overwhelmed, they get really, really, the meltdowns are quite severe, and it's traumatic for the kids and the parents. So every time, once in a while, when it happens to me, I rub it on myself at the same time as I rub it on Sterling. And that way you just survive and get through a day without, really losing your banana cart. So for the off occasions, I have a roller ball, or I diffuse it. A lot of the calming blends, which is Serenity, Balance, Bergamot. Bergamot is a well-used oil in my house. It works really well. Where wild orange and things like that is invigorating for my family, Bergamot calms my family. So that's a single oil that I use quite regularly for diffusing with something else. And yeah, we love lavender, and it works an absolute bomb in my house. So hyperactivity. Yeah, or just being a real rat bag. And this happens to every child, and I think with most children you do go through these phases. But if you get to a stage where they are 4 years old and they still, act out like a 3-year-old, you can use some oils to help them calm down, focus, especially if this happens during a school session or during a therapy session with your speech or occupational therapist or your ABA therapist. You don't want to be running around with a kid that doesn't want to focus or sit down or listen or have all these other interferences, like he wants to just wreak havoc, then I would use definitely the In Tune again, and balance to ground them. That is the perfect name for this blend. It grounds them, and it's also a very gentle and calming blend. So balance is well used during the day.
We use
Just
it
to
a
get
lot.
in,
We use it a lot too.
yeah. And I sometimes change it up with a Peaceful Child blend, which is kind of a knocker. It takes Sterling a little bit to the too relaxed side. So I use it sparingly. The Peaceful Child I would use if we've come from say a fair or something and they're quite hyper from the treat sugar they had or something. I would use the Peaceful Child in that hours before bedtime.
Yeah.
Just so that they could calm down, and because that's got vetiver, ylang-ylang, frankincense, clary sage, marjoram, and lavender in it.
Have you tried peace
so
as well?
Say again?
Have you tried peace, just the blend piece that doTERRA have?
Yeah, I've got peas on excuse me, on another slide, but peas on its own as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
I love that photo.
So,
Ainsley would do the same thing.
by the way, that green marker was no challenge for lemon oil and a cloth. That took nothing more than maybe 10 minutes to clean up. I freaked out when it happened, but then I got my lemon oil and I tried it out and it came off quick smart. So lemon oil is essential. I don't live without it, I must say. The use of it is multi-use, and I'm the multi-use queen. I love using things for different things. So you will never waste your money on lemon, I promise you that. The next one is periods of anxiety and stress. This can be anything. Well, stress can be anything, and I've learned this in the last couple of years. We are taught that stress is basically, oh, you're not getting to your work, or you're not, you've got financial troubles, or you've got something else. But things that places stress on your body can be anything. Your body doesn't know when it's financial stress, or when it is sleep stress, or when it is I don't like my teacher stress. It just takes it as stress. And I'm not going to go into all the negative health things, cortisol and all that things. It interrupts your sleep and then all that stuff. So with our kids, you would think they do not stress or they do not have anxiety. They do. I mean, for some kids, it is so bad they can't walk in the street because the noise of it is so stressful. It's just so unique to what every child, and it happens within moments, and it is quite debilitating. It can be quite debilitating. They just shut off. And in these periods, I have found that lavender, serenity, the calming blend, because to get through a period of a lot of overload as well, you just need to balance your body again, and serenity is quite a powerful one of just centering you again. For that periods when you are very low, Sterling gets quite low in his mood. I found that elevation does do the job. It's a joyful blend. He loves that, and I do a chaser on his skin of elevation and peppermint, and that just cheers him up.
That would be beautiful.
Say again?
That would be a beautiful blend. I need to try that.
I've always been, I started off with elevation as a perfume.
Yeah.
Because at the same time when I was changing all the all my washing powders, I also stopped using perfume because Sterling got really overwhelmed by perfume.
Oh.
And I could not, and I love perfume. My mum and my grandmother, they get perfume every birthday.
Yeah.
And it was just something I grew up with, and I thought I would always wear perfume. And then he was so unsettled with if I wore perfume that I stopped. And I think there was always, until I found essential oils, there was a yearning to replace it with something. And I never felt confident enough to try something at the shops or anything, because I just knew it would send them over the edge. But Elevation was my first perfume after I started doTERRA. And yeah, it's a beautiful one.
It is.
So,
Yeah, a lot of moms who actually use Elevation a lot. A lot of moms.
sleep. It is one of the most important parts of our day. And when we have our kids, it's quite reinforced in our mentality as mums that our kids need to sleep. And you walk away with this feeling of, but how the effing hell am I going to get them to sleep? It was the most arrogant, looking back now, it's very arrogant from healthcare professionals to just say, but your kid is supposed to be sleeping 12 hours. And I struggled. My kids did not sleep until Juno was about 18 months old. We had sleep troubles. So we went and saw a specialist with Juno to get her to sleep, and well, thank goodness that worked. But after that, Sterling started. So when we got to about the 3-year-old, switch from 3-year-old to 4, yeah, he changed. And he was getting up through the night. He wasn't sleeping by himself. It placed a lot of strain on our relationship because we were either sitting in his room or sleeping in his bed, all those things. And then he would be chatting along for the whole night. He would not switch off. He was just completely busy-minded the whole time. And so I started diffusing oils in his room also. I rub it on. So after a bath at nighttime, I have a blend of fractionated coconut oil, Serenity, and Balance, and I rub that on them so that they calm down and switch off. And with him, it is very strong. Not strong in the sense of the oils, but in the way that we need to do it for him to help him switch off for the end of the day. And Peace has also been a really good one that we can just use at the time of going to bed. So, and like I said, bergamot is a favorite to diffuse in my house. And at different times we needed different oils. So when the kids started going through their nightmares and getting up, we started using juniper. Cedarwood is also really good in the times when they are really upset and really emotional. So you change it up. We change it up as we go. And I didn't start off doTERRA to learn, but I did.
Yeah.
And you start off with a little bit and you grow because you find something that works, and then you find something that works better, and you just keep adding to it. And that's what we did with sleep. We just change it up every now and then. If this doesn't work for a while, we change it up. So the next part is nutrition.
Good.
And being a chef and now a business owner that started focusing on organic foods, I've learned more and more about gut health and the link between gut health and brain, and also eating foods that support our brain and not detract from it. And this is just a short thing that I've added to what balances out my philosophy. So I use a lot of bone broth, either dehydrated or fresh, from grass-fed cattle and free-range pasture-raised chickens. Those are the best. They have the most minerals, and they have no nasties to it. So it's completely beneficial for your gut and your brain. Hydration is a very important part in our kids. I was told once by a very good chiropractor that we are actually more emotional when we are dehydrated. So we're angry and sad and all those things. So hydration from a good filtered water with, if your kids can stand it or like it, a little bit of lemon or wild orange in it is just perfect for them. It hydrates them, it cleanses their palate, and just is amazing for them. I've also started using more ancient grains and seeds and nuts, so like buckwheat and millet and spelt. They are alternatives, and they are replacements for conventional flours that are really harmful to our gut. And I also supplement with fermented foods like sauerkraut and kimchi. When the kids will eat it, I have to partner it up with hot dogs and things like that, so that they will eat it. Pickled foods like cucumbers and carrots, and Sterling's very good with cucumbers, so he eats a lot of pickled foods as well. The good vinegars used in it, that also helps cleanse out the body, and if you make it with apple cider vinegar with the mother in it, you get more probiotics into your gut to support healthy being. So, and good fats like coconut oil, grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter from grass-fed cows, avocado oil, macadamia oil, good olive oil. These help with the neurons in your kid's brain, and the sheath around it can deteriorate or is possibly not there. And good fats helps to rebuild it or keep it intact. It also helps with the building of new pathways, and we need those fats for our brain. Our brain is fat, we need fat for our brain. Good sources of protein to keep our bodies going. Kids with autism or special needs sometimes have really bad muscle tone and or underdeveloped muscle tone, and with their therapies it can take longer for them to bring the results that you want. So adding more protein and fats to their diet actually helps them build those muscles during their therapies and get to the end way before they would have if they didn't have the extra building blocks. Also limiting preservatives and other nasties that are in processed foods. Processed foods in general have them, so in most cases they have them, and the preservatives, it won't, your body won't look that good after you've gone into the casket, but in the meantime it's actually killing the bad bacteria, the good bacteria in your gut, and supplementing the bad bacteria. So you're actually growing the worst kind of bacteria when you add these processed preservatives and nasty sugars and all that. They are just, the bad bacteria is just feeding off it, and the good ones are going away. So, supplements, and I call this in the way that kids would. I use different organic powders and raw things. Also the beef broth and beef gelatin. We make jellies, all these things to help our kids with their energy, get their energy from good sources, and they are more willing and able to learn.
That superfoods thing that Juno has there, Ainsley absolutely loves. It's like a natural Milo, I guess, or a natural like chocolate, but it's got like beets. She loves it. And then I put collagen in that as well, like collagen powder.
Yeah.
She drinks it, and I put yeah, it's good stuff.
It is the life I've created by accident, or not by accident. It was by choice, but I didn't know I was making the choice when I did it. Was making small changes every now and again actually gets you closer. It's not buy everything at the one stage. Just keep doing a little bit at a time, and you will change from buying at your local supermarket every week to buying once a month from them, and maybe having a hand basket instead of a one deep trolley full of stuff. And with this, I've also, my kids actually has never had Milo. Not by the time Sterling was being baby led, the information about Nutella and Milo was already available. So I didn't introduce it to him because he was just, there was nothing in there baby led weaning wise. So my kids just had this protein powders from organic sources and food stuff. Well, yeah, I've excluded most of the nasties in our house, environmentally and food-wise. I've got 1 year of Juno on top of one of the freights of a who gives a crap toilet paper. Something that I'm also very involved with is sourcing products that helps our earth and not harm it. And toilet paper from Who Gives a Crap is definitely part of my philosophy. So I've added a few of my contact details and things on there. I've created a new page, my page. Oh my God. It's got nothing on it except my profile picture. But I'm inspired to start sharing things more and more on there, so that people, whoever isn't in Bunbury, can still follow whatever I do. I'm an eternal extrovert introvert, so things come. I say yes to a lot of things, and then I have to do it, and then I get shy. So the only reason why I haven't done a personal page is because I am very shy most of the time. So I've done it, and I'll be posting on there more and more. And yeah,
I just really want to commend you, because I think that, you know, there was probably a lot of forks in the road that you could have done different, or changed different, or become apathetic or frustrated, or, you know, you have always been such an advocate for your children. And it's one of the things that inspires me probably the most about you, is that you quietly assess the situation and then make a move after evaluating everything. And whereas I'm more reactive immediately, you're someone who will kind of hold back and look at the whole picture. And I love what you said too. If people are watching this, you know, for the first time, maybe they're wanting to just go naturally with their kids, or maybe their kids don't have autism, but they may have another unique quality about them, and think, holy moly, like, where do I even start? And I think that you've given really simple, easy, digestible steps to really help help all of us, and including ourselves. Like even my daughter, she doesn't, have any sort of diagnosis or label, or, she's just a crazy toddler. But all the things that yeah, but all of the things that you talked about today that you use with Sterling, in some varying degree, we use with Ainsley as well. So thank you so much for, sort of video again. Thank you so much for really being vulnerable and sharing with us tonight. And if you have any questions, please reach out to Lucianne on Facebook. The best way to probably get her is at Six Seasons Markets on Facebook. And
my new Facebook page.
or your new Facebook page. And also, if you have any questions about essential oils and want to ask Lucianne, just send her a message. She is more of an expert in this area than I am. If for some reason you can't get a hold of her, you can always find me on Facebook, Mish Pope, Oils with Mish, and I can send you on to Lucianne as well. She's one of our silver leaders on our team and is really stepping more into that role kind of in her own way that's going to be authentic for her. So thank you guys so much. And if you came late, we'll give you the recording as well. So